For 10 days, the abduction of Nancy Guthrie was a ghost story, a crime defined by what was missing rather than what was found. We had a 45-minute window of silence, a disconnected pacemaker, and a series of cryptic ransom notes that led into the digital abyss of the blockchain. But on Tuesday, February 10th, 2026, the ghost finally took a physical form. The Pima County Sheriff's Department released a series of graining, terrifying images recovered from residual data that had been previously thought lost or corrupted. In these frames, the world finally saw the person who stood on Nancy Guthrie's porch in the dead of night. This wasn't a digital phantom. This was an armed, masked individual with a backpack, gloves, and a chillingly methodical approach to dismantling a life. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button. The recovery of this footage is a forensic miracle. Because Nancy's security system lacked an active subscription, the event at 1:47 a.m. didn't trigger a cloud save. However, FBI data recovery specialists managed to pull fragmented packets from the camera's internal buffer before they were overwritten. What those fragments reveal is a nightmare in motion. The suspect is seen approaching the front door with a level of confidence that suggests they didn't fear being caught. They first attempt to obscure the lens with a gloved fist, a blunt physical intervention. When that doesn't satisfy them, the suspect is seen reaching down into Nancy's own decorative planters, grabbing a handful of brush and flowers, and stuffing them into the camera's housing. This detail is particularly alarming to behavioral analysts. It shows a perpetrator who is comfortable enough to use the environment against the victim. But it is the second video clip that has sent chills through the Tucson community. After the camera is obscured by the brush, there is a final moment where the suspect's face, or what can be seen of it, comes into clear view. A bright, pinpoint light emanates from the suspect's mouth area. Investigators believe this is a tactical bite light, a tool often used by hunters or tactical teams to keep their hands free while working in total darkness. The light reflects off the suspect's eyes, which shine back into the camera with a predatory intensity. This detail confirms one of the most disturbing theories of the case. This was not a random snatch and grab. This was a tactical abduction carried out by someone equipped for a silent nighttime breach. As these images circulated, Savannah Guthrie's messaging underwent a radical transformation. Gone was the "we will pay" rhetoric of the weekend. In a new, heart-wrenching Instagram video, Savannah appeared more grounded but deeper in despair. She wasn't talking to the kidnappers anymore. She was talking to us. "We are at an hour of desperation," she said. This pivot suggests a devastating realization within the family and the FBI. The $6 million Bitcoin ransom notes may have been a hoax. While the Bitcoin wallet was real, the lack of follow-up communication after the Monday 5 p.m. deadline has led investigators to fear that the person who sent the notes was not the person who stood on that porch with a bite light and a backpack. The search has now widened into a DNA dragnet. Fox News Digital reported that the FBI is now collecting DNA samples from Nancy's hired help, the pool cleaners, the gardeners, and the home maintenance crews who had regular access to the property. This is an elimination sweep. By collecting the DNA of everyone who should have been there, the FBI can isolate the DNA of the person who shouldn't have. They are looking for a match to the blood found on the porch, blood that has already been confirmed to belong to Nancy. The presence of her blood, combined with the sighting of an armed suspect, has turned the hour of desperation into a race against a potentially violent conclusion. The mystery of how the alarm was first raised has also been clarified, adding a layer of poignancy to the tragedy. It wasn't a missed church service in the traditional sense. Nancy, a woman of deep and private faith, had stopped attending in-person services during the pandemic. She was supposed to join a close-knit group of friends to watch a live-stream service from New York on that Sunday morning. When her seat in that digital congregation remained empty, her friends knew immediately that something was wrong. It was this circle of friends, not a pastor or a stranger, who first sounded the alarm to Annie Guthrie. It underscores the disturbing detail that Nancy's life was one of quiet, predictable routine. A routine the masked suspect used to time their arrival with lethal precision. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button. With the release of the suspect's image, The investigation into Nancy Guthrie's disappearance has moved from the who to the where. The 12-hour window mentioned in the now dubious ransom notes has passed, and with it, the geographical search area has exploded. In 12 hours, a vehicle traveling at highway speeds can cover over 800 miles. From the quiet cul-de-sacs of the Catalina foothills, that radius extends into the heart of California, the mountains of Colorado, and, most ominously, deep across the US-Mexico border. As the FBI shifts its focus to a national command post, the question that haunts the 10th day of this investigation is no longer just about a Bitcoin wallet. It's about whether Nancy Guthrie is even still on American soil. The proximity of Tucson to the Mexican border, a mere 60-mile drive, has always been the elephant in the room for this case. While former FBI agent Tracy Walder noted that cartels are usually much more showy with their violence, the tactical nature of the suspect in the video suggests a different kind of professional. The bite light, the backpack, and the methodical disabling of the camera are hallmarks of someone trained in clandestine movement. If Nancy was taken across the border, the investigation enters a jurisdictional nightmare. While the FBI has an attaché in Mexico City, their ability to conduct forensic sweeps on the other side of the line is severely limited. However, the focus remains intensely local on two specific properties: Nancy's home and the residence of her daughter, Annie Guthrie. Over the last 48 hours, law enforcement has been seen searching septic tanks and drainage pipes on Nancy's property. This is a grim but necessary part of any abduction investigation, ruling out the possibility that the victim never left the site. Simultaneously, the consensual search of Annie's home continues to yield new questions. The Puma County Sheriff has remained tight-lipped about which family member drove Nancy home at 9:45 p.m. on that fateful Saturday. Was it Annie? Was it her husband, Tommaso? The refusal to name the driver has created a vacuum of information that the public has filled with suspicion, despite the family's total cooperation. The digital footprint of the case has also taken a strange turn. The FBI released a statement on Tuesday morning that they are not aware of any continued communication with the kidnappers. This is a significant admission. It suggests that the active negotiation we all thought was happening over the weekend has gone cold. If the $6 million Bitcoin ransom was a side hustle by a separate cybercriminal taking advantage of a high-profile case, it means the FBI is back to square one with the physical suspect. The masked man in the video didn't leave a Bitcoin wallet address. He left only the residual data of his presence. We are also learning more about the Circle K gas station surveillance footage. Located halfway between Annie's house and Nancy's house, this gas station is a choke point for the neighborhood. Sources indicate the FBI is looking for a specific vehicle of interest, a dark-colored SUV or sedan that was seen idling near the station around 2 a.m. If this vehicle matches the one that moved Nancy from her home, the 9 alarming details will soon have a 10th, a license plate. The DNA sweep of the pool cleaners and gardeners is also yielding results, though not the ones the public expects. By processing these individuals, the FBI is clearing the deck. They are looking for unknown DNA, the skin cells of the masked man who touched the camera and the flowers. If that DNA doesn't match the hired help, and it doesn't match the family, it goes into CODIS, the Combined DNA Index System. If the suspect has a prior record, the bite light intruder will finally have a name. As we move into day 11, the hour of desperation Savannah spoke of is visible in every corner of Tucson. FBI billboards are now live in Dallas, El Paso, and San Diego, turning a local abduction into a national manhunt. The strong clues President Trump spoke of may be the very images we are now seeing. But as the flashes of forensic cameras continue at the Guthrie properties, the reality is that the $6 million ransom deadline has come and gone, and the only thing left in its wake is the image of a man in a mask, a handful of flowers, and a daughter's plea for a miracle. And as always, you've been watching True Crime Story Vault, where every story is told with facts, empathy, and respect for those who can no longer speak for themselves. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button and comment your thoughts below. Until next time, remember, the truth is never buried.